Hey everyone, today I'm back with a video that I'm really passionate about. For a long time I've wanted to start a book journal and stupidly I was just afraid to do it. So today I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I'm just gonna start, and the book that I'm covering is actually really near and dear to my heart. So it's called Lilac Girls. I have it here, and it's written by Martha Hall Kelly, and I just finished this. So my mom actually gave it to me. It was a friend of hers and she loaned it to me to read as well because she thought I would like it. Of course, my mom's right. I absolutely love it. And it's a really special, important book in my opinion. So I really wanted to kick off my book journal right with this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of, I have some doodles that I've started because I record with my phone, so I can't look at any inspiration images or anything while I'm actually down here recording. So I have some doodles that I've started, and I'm going to kind of stick them into the pages randomly and then write out my thoughts on the book. And I just think it's a really cool way to remember exactly how you felt when you finished a book. Remember maybe what you've learned, what has changed about you from reading a book. I think that's so important to really think about yourself as you're reading different novels. Even if they're totally fiction, there's still lessons to be learned and ways that you can kind of bring those, maybe those points that the characters learned into your own life. So yeah, this one was really special to me, and I'm looking forward to doing some doodling and then some writing, and I'll do a voiceover while I'm writing to kind of tell you about the story and see if you're interested. And if you're interested, I definitely highly recommend it. So anyways, this is enough rambling. Let's go ahead and get into the actual doodling. Let's go. Here's my book journal, and I'm flipping right to the page that I kind of prepped for Lilac Girls. As I said, I'm recording this on my phone, so I can't really look at inspiration pictures or anything, and I wanted to make sure the title looked good. Forgot my pen. So while I go look for that pen, I just wanted to say this story is incredibly moving. The novel, written by Martha Kelly Hall, was published on April 5th of 2016. To put it very simply, it follows the lives of three very different women during the time before, during, and after World War II. Here you'll see me inking in the published date. The three women that we follow in this story are Miss Carolyn Faraday, an American woman living in New York and volunteering at the French Embassy; Herda Oberhauser, a young woman raised in Germany; and Kasia, and I forget how to say her last name, so please forgive me. She's an even younger woman of Polish and German heritage living in Lublin. In the beginning, we get a really good background of each of these women. Carolyn is a single woman who used to be on Broadway and comes from the Wolsey line. She's lost her father, but has a really good relationship with her mother. She pours her heart into her work at the embassy, making orphan care boxes with her own money. Herda has had some difficulties in her life and feels she must prove herself from a young age. When her father's doctor is taken away, she loses her father, who had been sick, and she feels responsible to take a job that will support her mother. She ends up taking a job at Ravensbrück, again, forgive me if I'm saying that wrong, Ravensbrück concentration camp as a doctor. Kasia was a young girl when the bombing and occupation of Lublin occurred. Many of the young adults in their neighborhood formed an underground resistance. While on a mission, she caught the eye of a German officer, and unfortunately she, her mother, her sister, her crush, and her crush's sister were all arrested. If you haven't guessed it yet, the women and girls were shipped to Ravensbrück. Ravensbrück is where things take on a whole new level of, well, no words can describe how wrong things go. The rest of the tumultuous story follows these three women through the war and on to what happens after. The similarities and differences between these women are shocking and, in my opinion, extremely well written. Each woman experiences love and loss, and in the end, each must find a way to live with what they have been through during the war. Now, as those of you who know me already know, my husband and dear friend have a podcast with me called Retcon Air. On that podcast, I have a branch of my own called Retcon Reads, where I talk about books. And you may be wondering why I'm not covering this book there. It's a really simple answer with a longer explanation. This novel is just not something to retcon. When I finished the story, I went on to the note at the end, and Martha detailed the inspirations behind her novel. Carolyn and Herda were real women. Kasia and her sister Susanna were based on real sisters who were detained at Ravensbrück. The experiments, torture, and murder of women at that camp were very, very real. And honestly, there's just nothing to retcon, and I can only say that I wish with all of my heart that this hadn't happened, but it has, and I think it's really important to know that it has. I know a lot of this story may be really painful for you to read, as it was for me, even though I've experienced absolutely nothing compared to what these women went through. But I do think it's really important to read it. Whether it was due to my education or honestly just how naive I am, I had no idea that camps aside from Auschwitz were so horrific. This story was moving, touching, eye-opening, and it's honestly led to me purchasing several other books to do research and gain a better understanding of what really happened during World War II. And it's made me want to learn a lot more than just about World War II, but this is just a step. I highly recommend that you read this novel or do some research of your own, because if we forget about these things, we're dooming them to happen again. Okay, I'm gonna get off my high horse now. Without giving away too many spoilers, I'll tell you a little bit about what I am drawing. On the page on the left, I drew a can of Ovaltine in a care box to mimic what Carolyn would have sent from the French embassy to the orphans in her orphan boxes. And here on the right hand side of the page, I am drawing a wedding dress that has some money pinned to it. While reading this, I learned about a Polish tradition where during the dollar dance at weddings, they would actually pin the money to the bride, and I think in more recent times the bride and groom. And I just think that's such a cool tradition, and it would be so cool to just see this bride, walking around with dollars hanging from her dress, pinned to her dress. I just think it's really cool. So that's what I am doodling in here, and I actually tried to search for 1946 Polish currency to draw on here, so forgive me if that's not accurate. It's pretty far away, so you probably can't even see what I'm drawing anyways, but yeah, I did my best here. Then here on the last page, I wanted to do some more simple doodles, so I'm just doodling a kind of lilac. It's not accurate, but just something cute to stick up in the left top corner. And now, my favorite doodle of them all. This is a little rabbit with some flowers around it. The Polish women who were in the Ravensbrück camp were given the nickname rabbits. If you read the story or do some research, you'll know why. And I just thought it made for a cute little way to end my first entry into my book journal. Here I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do as far as putting the main characters' names in. So I just took some Tombow dual brush pens in some different shades of purple, made little lines, and now I'm going to go in with this small typewriter stamp set and put their names in. And I used the back of the book because I could not remember how to spell Kassia's last name. So I set this here beside me so that I could make sure I did not mess this up. Also, I apologize. I know you can't see what I'm doing at first, but I will move the book here in just a minute. That's a little better. And since I put those characters' names there, I wanted to take the first little bit of the summary and add it below there. So that's what I'm going to do now. Once that was on, I thought about it a lot and I actually decided to add the rest of the summary on the next page. And now I'm gonna go in with the lightest shade of purple and highlight every other line, and this is just because I think it's aesthetically really pleasing. I think it looks really cute, and off camera I'm gonna add all of my thoughts because you guys don't need to watch me sit and write for a second and then think, and then write for a second and then think. So if you're interested, I can definitely show you a finished book journal entry once I get it written. Just let me know in the comments below. And then here is the final flip through of my first book journal entry. I really love how this turned out. I hope you guys like it too, and I hope it inspires you to check out Lilac Girls because it was a really good novel, or that it inspires you to do some research of your own. And that's all I have for today's video. Thank you.